A few weeks ago I asked the question, Strava, is it time to pay? And you can see a link to that last video in the top right hand corner. Now I've come to the end of my free trial, I'll give you my answer. There's too much to fit into a 5-minute video, so for now I'll just give you a brief run through of the subscriber features. For context, I'm just an average club rider. I don't race, and although I use a heart rate monitor and a cadence sensor, I don't have a power meter. Mainly I do recreational rides, club runs, touring and audax. The subscriber features can be found at the bottom of the menus. I'll start with my goals. I don't find these useful as most of my goals are set through challenges which are available to non-subscribers. So we have heat maps that you can set up for your own rides. The different colours represent how often I've ridden particular routes. Now, there are some problems. If I go to the northern tip of Denmark, you can see one of my rides. However, there's a gap between Hadsund and Skeggen. I did actually ride all the way up that coastline. That particular ride is listed in Strava, so I'm not sure how reliable the heat maps are and indeed how useful they are. Under the training menu, we have 4 options. The first is a training log. This training log takes the form of a calendar. You can drill down to those activities. Although this looks pretty, actually I don't find it very useful. Next we have training plans. I'm not particularly interested in optimizing my fitness, and I've never used them. Next we have power curve. Well, as I don't have a power meter, this is entirely blank and therefore totally useless to me. Finally, we have freshness and fitness. Now this is potentially interesting. However, as I don't have a power meter, the data that goes into it is compromised. I also find that the data that's represented on here doesn't correspond to how I feel, and therefore it has limited use. Next we have what's probably the most interesting option for me, and that's the ability to create routes. And here we have the map. The good thing about this is very fast. So if I take 2 random points at a couple of 100 kilometers apart, you'll see that the route is built within seconds. In addition, we can show Strava segments. And also there's a global heat map that relates to cycling, which is supposed to show the most popular routes and use that for guiding the navigation. However, there are some problems with the mapping. 2 examples are, first, there's no ability to create named waypoints. There's also no ability to reverse a route. I think the bottom line here is that there are better options. Under the Explore menu, there's also subscriber perks, which just seems a way of getting a small discount off of rather obscure and rather expensive products and services. Finally, there's some subscriber functionality that's not listed in the menu system. One of those functionality is the ability to capture weather data. However, that weather data is just captured at the start of the ride, so it's not dynamic through the ride and therefore has limited use. There's also the ability to transfer live segments to your cycle computer. I found this interesting at first, but I quickly got bored of it, so now I don't use it at all. Lastly but not least, subscribers have access to the full leaderboards. As I tend to languish in the hundreds, if not the thousands of places, then this doesn't actually mean very much to me. I can quite happily do without it. So what's the answer to my original question? The bottom line is that as a Strava paid subscriber, I won't get any killer features that I can't get elsewhere. What about that moral argument I mentioned? That is, feeding off others that do pay. Could I live with that? Yes, I probably could. In the end, I've decided to become a paid subscriber, but only as a way of supporting Strava and not because I need any of the paid for features. As I alluded to earlier, I'll be making further comparison videos looking at the various features of Strava and some of the competing services. To see those comparison videos and other cycling related subjects, why not subscribe and click on the bell icon to get notifications of future videos. From me, until next time, it's goodbye.